It's time for the shop report with
Barbershop Jay.
What's up, sports fans? Welcome to the Shop Report special presentation of the Turnbuckle. I, of course, am your host, Double J, with quite a bit to say. But before we dive into Crown Jewel, our Raw recap, amongst anything else, and there were many other things that took place in the squared circle and, of course, outside of it, I want to introduce, what's up, Gibby?
What's up, Gibby?
My guy to my right, your left, none other than What You Mean Gully.
What you mean, Gully? What's going on, D Gully? How we feeling out there? Great wrestling. Great time. Happy Monday night to you guys. How did you guys enjoy? Well, depending on where you're at, you're falling back that hour, right? Right? Some people don't like waking up in the still dark and then going to bed and it's still dark. To me, I don't mind the night. It's quiet, pensive thoughts. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind it. Feels like I'm ahead of the day whenever I can get up and I start out when it's dark. But that's just me. So what do you think?
Still ahead of it when you come back and it's dark, though?
No, absolutely not. You're absolutely right. But it's my thinking, right? It's the things that, it's the mnemonic devices. It's the things that we trick ourselves into thinking that makes work. I mean, it's the placebo effect. What can I say?
There you go.
But I don't mind it, man. How you doing today, Double J?
I needed more than an hour
Of sleep?
Well, than what was given, right, with the going back.
All right, gotcha.
So, speaking of going back.
To Cali?
No, not this time.
Right.
Our first segment is actually Bobby Lashley reflecting on his time in WWE. This was on the Lame Guys podcast.
Okay.
Bobby Lashley claims WWE went out of their way to bury him before leaving the company. Okay, now, in quotes, I was like, man, they're trying to bury me as much as they can. Pulled me off of WrestleMania the first time in my entire career. Just put me in the back where I was in the background, just wearing a suit, doing nothing.
That's the end of the quote?
That's the end of the quote.
See, I like more context. I'd like to know.
Well, hang on. We're in the midst of this is that cut time, right? I always think this is like the worst time, but I get it's the end of the year, so that's probably when contracts are expiring.
Yeah.
So much for that. It's the most wonderful time of the year song, huh?
Right.
But because we're on the precipice of this,
Mm-hmm.
and we've already seen some out there kind of indicate where their status was with the company.
Okay.
And as we've been very vocal, myself a little bit more louder than maybe others, about where I believe this can be, where this train is headed.
Okay.
So to hear someone like that had the pedigree that he did, kind of point out what he felt occurred.
Right.
Look, I get it. What they never want to see is what occurred on WCW with the Women's Championship.
There was no chance of that happening. I feel like there's a much smaller chance of anything like that happening in the modern landscape. Smaller enterprises moving up probably have a tendency to do that. But you're not going to take a WWE title to TNA. Right? You're not going to take a WWE title to TNA because you will embarrass yourself before you would embarrass the company. And for that matter, I think smaller promotions would be wary to try to coax that sort of behavior. Remember, at the time when we saw that, WCW in this promotion as a promotion, it was viewed, at least by the owners and the operators of it, as big as WWE or bigger than, let's say, WWF at the time. So there was incentive, if you will, to make such a shocking gesture, right? There's not the same landscape at all. So I don't think we have to worry about that. Like I said, especially if you're going small. Now, a guy taking a title perhaps to AEW, that might be a different story, but even still, I think that would be foolish. That would be the inverse of AEW airing the Jack Perry CM Punk footage when CM Punk had already went to WWE, and how mightily that backfired. We're not going to see any of that, I don't think. Right? It doesn't serve anybody. It doesn't. Yeah, it won't do well for anybody who tries.
And it doesn't do well for you to pull, and ban everybody that showed that clip.
Right? Exactly. You're trying to save yourself from the embarrassment. I like to say, of course,
still better.
Of course, I don't think WWE is going to come out and say, "Yeah, we buried Bobby Lashley." They wouldn't say that. We'll get the corporate response to balancing the talent and the efforts of moving everybody along, creative control, creative differences, outlook. We'll get the official corporate header landscape. We'll get that official verbiage. But what is in the details, right? Why do you think they moved on from Bobby Lashley? I don't know. Because I don't know why they moved on, considering it seemed like there was more so WWE that seemed interested in bringing him back. Like the reunion was as much an interest in Bobby Lashley as it was in WWE wanting to return to that talent because of the sense of realism that a legitimate MMA fighter such as Lashley could provide inside of the squared circle.
Absolutely.
So I don't know where the breakdown went. Clearly, though, if you ask MVP, the breakdown went somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not. Yeah. So that's where I'd like to have more to say on it, but I'd like to see I'd like to get some insight on what WWE's provocation would be, even if it's the one that I see versus the one that they'd say. I don't know. I just think maybe they ran a course with Bobby Lashley. I don't know.
Well, I'm gonna start painting a picture for you, and It's not even me, because here's how it started versus how it's going.
Yeah, man, because you can't help me out, because I was trying to understand what this meant. When you put this in the Discord, I was trying to understand what this meant.
So as you see, this is the main event. So again, where are they? They're in where Crown Jewel's taking place.
Yep.
The image on the left is the last time Zelina Vega and, of course, Austin Creed, if you will. Mm-hmm. It is merely pointing out here that they're now, remember, main event is main event. It is not Crown Jewel.
Right.
But the last time they were there a few years ago, They were king and queen of the ring.
Okay.
Now they're a part of main event. And not the main event.
Oh, that's what it meant. Gotcha. Wait a minute. They were king and queen of the ring?
Mm-hmm.
So that means, that's a push.
Then
Supposed to be a push.
that's there. You're hitting it's going over your head, but you're right there.
Right. So it's supposed to be a push, but then you just got pushed aside.
There you go.
Yeah, like, okay, all right, because I didn't get context. So it's like, okay, what happened?
I mean, do they look
Creed had
great?
an injury, right?
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
No, so,
Okay.
so you okay? So again, we played the Lashley
Yep.
part. We've heard you reference MVP.
Yep.
Again, I'm looking at it also from like, with my Bischoff lens and saying, oh, there's TKO guys breathing down my neck, and I got too much on the, too much payroll, and I can only do so much. Oh, and coincidentally, I no longer have 2 shows, 3 shows, 4 shows, or in this case, 3 hours,
Right.
in order to feature more people. So how can I give, and this is what I warned everybody, that we could look back on this in 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
Probably won't be me, it'll be somebody else. But someone can look back on this and say, man, in 2K24, man, that roster size was huge.
Right.
In the same way that we did with, WCW World Tour, or, you know what I mean?
Right.
But is this 2-hour thing ultimately the root of the issue?
Is it the root of the issue? You have less time to see you have a higher volume of people and less time to see them.
Which puts guys like Lashley in a suit in the back.
Right.
Twisted my body from side to side. That's all he could do.
Yeah.
You don't even have R-Truth had to change his intro, right? He can't rap no more. Ain't got enough time.
He can't rap no more. Got enough time. I don't know if that's a bad thing.
Right? I mean, this sounds like the movie Old School. We got a big day tomorrow. Going to Home Depot. Like
right.
There no less bumps, but does that equate to less bodies?
It seems like yes. I guess what I'm trying to say is what I'm thinking is that I'm sort of in favor of the talent that they are featuring. So I'm not as upset or disturbed as perhaps some of the talent that's not getting featured. So meaning, all right, Bobby Lashley, I think there's room for him. While I certainly would think there was room for him on the roster in a relevant feud, be honest with you, wouldn't mind to see him versus Gunther. I would say the talent that they're featuring now, I see. I can buy into them going that direction. And if you had to move from Lashley at the moment, and again, my eyes can be opened up. Certainly, if anybody's got opinions or comments, definitely tell me something different. I don't mind considering a change of opinion. But at the moment, right now, I can understand why they moved differently from him, why they moved on from Lashley. For me, to make it make sense, Lashley, let's see how you do now that you've gotten an opportunity where you're gone, where you're appreciated. Let's see what you do with being appreciated. I believe that you can certainly make it make sense in that sense. But let's see that now, so that way we can really understand the how severe the grievance is for you leaving WWE or WWE moving on from you. You get what I mean?
I do, but this is where I again, I'm going to reference this image.
All right.
They should be getting a push, not pushed aside. Do we truly have time in this era now for character development?
2-hour shows, 2-day pay-per-views, 2-hour shows. You know, why don't they show more vignettes on the socials?
They're going to have to get more creative. This is where they may want to give us a call. It's because you have to tap in with, this is not like, you do need a meeting of the minds with a younger demographic.
Right. Why don't you show more
programs? The older are out of their element in this. And look, I'm not saying that in a disrespectful way, because all things considered, you and I can very well, end up on that side of the fence.
Right.
And so where I'm going with it instead is absolutely emphasizing your point that yes, the show itself is X amount of time.
Right.
But now you have really 24/7, right? That all access that I talked about with wrestling or I'm sorry, not with wrestling, with boxing or with UFC and things of that nature historically.
Yeah.
In order to try to get someone up to speed. And maybe that's the crowd that you tap into, right? Because most casual fans, they are buying a name and they're still willing to pay a premium for that live event,
right?
Whether that's just being televised or, of course, in a stadium near you. So you have to figure something out. There's enough hours in the day, but there's not enough hours of the show.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So make me want to see.
Because otherwise, how else can you get someone to rally around Zelina Vega?
Right. I need to see more of Zelina Vega outside of the show that you have. Like, yeah, it should be more. Hey, what happened to the 24/7 champion? Is it over with already?
The what?
I mean, the Speed Championship. Is it over with already?
Let's find out. Here we go. You don't hear much about it, do you?
Right.
Looking in the results. No. Here we go. As of whoa. I just learned the Motorola Razor's back. Something. Whoa! Like I felt like I was in an alternate timeline. Did you see that there? Like, so we got Tozawa defeated Riley Osborne. Do you know who Riley Osborne is?
Absolutely not.
Okay, then. See my point?
Yeah.
Do you see how
it's like boxing? Like you got names that you have names without foundations.
Bingo. Gully, you were hit. Yes. You were right there with it. Absolutely. This is
so
what
I can see. Yeah. So I can see now. It starts to make more sense. A grievance like Bobby Lashley is like, well, wait a minute, hold on. I'm a name. I have a foundation. You don't have to do much for me to help me build so much as put me in the ring. Right? Whoa.
Stop it.
But yeah, run that back, bro.
This was it. This was your speed as of this week.
See, I need to see their names.
You don't know who Tozawa is?
I mean, context clues would tell me, but I'm saying if you see that image,
no,
if you see that image, bro, like listen, if you see that image, Who are you looking at? Or is this like the ad, or is this the ad for Halloween costumes? Like, get your Halloween costumes, get your outfits. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know who these people are.
That's so. Look, I know Tozawa, thankfully.
Mm-hmm.
Especially for the legitimacy of our program.
Spell it. Go ahead.
But of course, he was part of Alpha Academy.
All right, spell his name.
T-O. No, we're gonna go A.
You don't know. Who's the other guy? Spell his name.
Well, his name is Riley, so I'm gonna go R-I-L. I'm gonna go E-Y.
Fair enough. Right. So Speed only on X. That doesn't sound right at all. But even still, like, is there
right. Actually,
is there anything functionally that wouldn't allow them to cross promote? Well, oh yeah, you know what? That's it. That's also it. So Speed only on X. I don't think that they are able to promo any of this on Instagram.
Gully. What platform are we on?
We're on a lot of platforms, but
thank you. Are we on a single platform? Or are we on platforms?
No, but we don't have anything that says we're going to give a specific type of content to a specific media provider. There's nothing about our show, structured about our show, that says, hey, check out our show only on Twitch, to which we can promo whatever we're doing on YouTube so that way people can find our show only on Twitch. See, the Speed Championship is only defended on, so I kind of get it. What I'm saying is we should be seeing, just as a general, we should be seeing coincidentally those two competitors. We should be seeing vignettes or top 10 matches on Instagram, so we know who this guy is. And so then that way on Instagram, on Facebook, on the higher volume platforms, we'll see the guy. But then when we want to follow him, oh yeah, by the way, he's competing on the Speed. He's competing on X for the Speed Championship. So it's like coincidentally, we'll just go to X to see his match. But consistently, we're seeing him promote on Twitter, not on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube Shorts. You follow what I'm saying? I don't see these guys anywhere except for X. But with Bobby Lashley, I know who his name is. I'm going to see Bobby Lashley on Instagram because I'm probably going to watch UFC fights with Bobby Lashley. And then then the algorithm is going to get to jumping. Then I'll see him. I'll see him in the WWE ring.
Do you
remember
remember
the championship?
a while back, way while back, Ken Shamrock?
Yeah.
When you knew who he was,
right,
and things that that he was a part of, and essentially he of course served as someone that could legitimize the brand, but at the same time he was established.
Yeah.
That's where we're running into a longevity issue here, and that is what brings up my next topic for you, which is this contract here.
Yes.
Or at least statement, which is WWE launching new indie wrestling development program. So what we have in every sport, right? So unfortunately, you'll see a Boys and Girls Club commercial that'll just rip your heart out because, as I know, the way it rips money out of my wallet, this country is bass-ackwards, as Barbershop Jay would say, with pay-to-play. Participate. And you brought up exclusive rights, whether it was for WWE Speed or your child has to specialize in one thing, and it costs you about 10 grand annually, which you start saying, well, at 1% of them making it, I might as well have thrown that in a Roth IRA, and he would have already been able to pay for his college times 10.
Right.
So anyway, but at least he gets to have fun. I digress. So with this being said, unlike the UFC counterpart, there is no immediate pipeline. Right? NXT evolved a little bit, but it was meant to serve as the developmental product.
Right.
But now it grew into a show where you can't be quite as green, like, where insert Coldplay, where it's all yellow. And so you have an obligation to basically make sure that you have a healthy pipeline for the next 100 years, as Vince McMahon would have put.
Right.
The forever portion of that then, now, forever.
Right.
What do you make of this deal? Because Booker T's wrestling development is included in this.
Yeah, so what's old is new again.
What do you mean? All right, so this is something you might be able to educate me then. Go ahead.
So this is the territories. This is the National Wrestling Alliance. This is exactly what it is. It's these different individual territories now part of the network. What I see the appeal that I see in it is you work in these farm territories. You have established veteran Hall of Famers that are heading these different territories. So you're getting authentic, true development and wisdom and encouragement from guys who have made it to where you're trying to go. Guys who have made it to the big time. And not only have they made it to the big time, they played big in the big time, right? Cody Rhodes, Nightmare Factory. Reality of Wrestling, Booker T. These are WWE champions, Hall of Fame careers, heading different base shops. So you have an indie, you have the small time, you have the development, you have the green, but what you also have is you have these guys learning how to actually take bumps, learning how to develop characters. You have the farm league separate from the independent outlier leagues where there was high risk, little reward. So while we like to watch the local wrestling promotion that goes to the traveling circus, and those guys make death-defying leaps inside of a gym with 50 people for $50, you won't have that. You'll have people that are taking healthier risks because they already are in a pipeline. They already have a path to make it to the big time. The WWE stretched this network out again, like the NWA, like the National Wrestling Alliance, all the different territories under one banner, in which case you can swap territories. You can see a guy go from Nightmare Factory to Reality of Wrestling and therefore so on and so forth. I sort of like it because with that WWE ID distinction, it does feel like at least there is a path directly from this organization all the way up to the big time. And it may not be as much of a guess as if I go indie, go Ring of Honor, or let's say go development to Ring of Honor. You have to figure out a way to get the Ring of Honor before they will really check you out. Now I can get to a promotion that I can already be visible. I sort of like the idea.
No, I actually love it because of the premise of our conversation leading up to this and you providing that additional context. Because I looked at it and saying, Booker T's Reality of Wrestling, Cody Rhodes, Nightmare Factory, all, Rollins, Black and Brave. the Elite Pro Wrestling Training Center, like that, plus what this is beginning to look a little bit more concrete, in my opinion, is what I theorized would likely be the case, which is the circus will no longer be quite on tour in the way that it was.
Okay.
As far as the last, after Vince broke the agreement. What you're going to see is those regionalized wrestling promotions. You're going to see more of the kind of, I talk about this in soccer all the time, about a pyramid.
Okay.
And as you just alluded to, with kind of having tiers. So now that responsibility is shared amongst TNA, amongst Ohio Valley, and for the very green in Raw, the Nightmare Factories, Booker T's stuff, even Jeannie Buss's Women of Wrestling. What it allows is all of those brands to thrive independently. It'll be interesting to see if WWE tries to, if they view it as a profitable endeavor to monopolize it.
Okay.
Where they do the acquisitions. I don't believe that will potentially ever be the case. I think it serves them better to allow someone to be within, just using Ohio Valley as a example, to clearly demonstrate and grow their own following. Dare I say, this is somewhat, to some extent, this is a little bit of a lazy model. I'm going to refer to it as what the music industry does today for the most part, which is you did your own self-promotion. Right. You got a hot song, and now I want to sign you.
Right. Right. You did everything.
And now I'm just going to put you on the radio and give you $1 million advance that I'll never, you'll owe me forever. Anyway. So, and maybe some interesting parties. So that's, to some extent, that's where I think they're going with it, but just not as cynical.
Okay.
But what it allows, more importantly, is for everyone to now have a genuine opportunity and to now celebrate once again the successes of someone actually, quote unquote, making it to the top. And this next part here is that we're going to dive into right after this break, I believe, should be your biggest indicator. Stay tuned.
I'm Jordan Gudeman, and I'm the founder and CEO of Eddie G's Cookies. I was first diagnosed with a nut allergy when I was young. At the time, there weren't a lot of labeled items that said if there may contain nuts or there are nuts in the food, so my brother and sister and I baked a lot at home, and we enjoyed treats from mixes and things like that, but I noticed that it was not the same as what my friends were enjoying, and I started making up my own recipes. When it was time to pick a career, I decided to start a bakery so I could share my treats with everybody else. When I started creating my recipe, I was taking in all the things that I thought I was missing out on. A soft, chewy center, a crisp outside crust, and a taste that is just like it came out of the oven at a bakery. When I put all those things together, I had come up with a recipe for a dream cookie. Eddie G's Cookies only uses the finest ingredients. We have all natural flavorings, no preservatives, and every cookie is made in a nut-free environment. The best part about Eddie G's Cookies is that they can be delivered right to your door. You can share them or not. We won't tell.
Cleaning the cracks on your pavement surfaces can take hours and be torturous on your body. Until now. Bicracky Weed Removal Tool was designed specifically to clean pavement cracks in a fraction of the time, all while standing up. Bicracky's patented design incorporates a two-sided steel blade and is encased by a durable fiberglass shell. Simply use the large end to clean big gaps, then rotate and use the small tip for narrow gaps. Made in the USA, Bicracky eliminates weeds to the root and is environmentally friendly. Bicracky, save your back while you clean your crack.
What it do, sports fans? It's your man BSJ from the Shop Report. And guess what? The shop is now open for business, baby. If you're on Facebook, go to our fan page, The Shop Report, click on More, and then Shop to view all products. Or if you're on Instagram, click on the Shop tab to see all our products. I mean, what you want me to do? I'm selling merch here.
All right, and just like that, we are back. And here's what we have next. As promised, Backlash is announced. It's going to be brought to you live from Tokyo, Japan, from the Tokyo Dome.
Ooh.
D. Gully, given the nature of our conversation up to this point, what do you make of this?
I want to know what that card is going to be. Is that card going to be plastered with a lot of high action, high octane wrestler, akin to the style we most closely associate with Japan, or are they going to try to contrast it, or are they going to just stay the course and deliver whatever WWE branded wrestling is? You know, stay the same course in terms of the bouts you have, relevant to stories you're telling, relevant to the feuds or programs you're having, or are they going to try to bring a showcase of that Japanese style to Japan? I'd like to see them try that. I would love to see Rey Mysterio find his way on this card. Andrade find his way on this card. You know Cody Rhodes going to be there, but against against who? Heck, if we could find a way, a Seth Rollins type, somebody give a high activity show, a high activity match.
Interesting. I look at this and say, okay, Mania being wherever is Mania. Nope.
Yep.
Not a surprise. But then this, on the heels of the success that we saw with the France show.
Yep.
Then the rumors circulating about a London show, which then kind of like hit the brakes because they didn't want to bid a certain amount. And now we get this one. And don't get me wrong, like
you forgot about Clash at the Castle.
Well, right. And again, but this is where I'm going with it. Right now, what they're exploiting is truly the global aspect of this, and which is great for the global audience and probably revenue. But there is a con to this.
What is it?
The casual fan.
How so?
It can potentially flirt with the boxing issue, which is goes back to the original issue that has to be solved. Because you already have, again, New Japan, right?
Yep.
Has been there, and you specifically referenced that style. Right. Don't get me wrong, they can go out there and do their thing, no problem, and the fans may not love it there. They'll probably have someone on that card that can give them at least a sample of that because they do demand it.
Right.
But everyone else won't necessarily bat an eye. So my overarching issue with all of this is what looks great for the bottom line may not always be the greatest for the brand and the health of the brand. That's why I like Triple H recognizing that, signing that deal. And I wouldn't call it a sweetheart deal. I think it was an absolute necessary deal to establish a pipeline. And for for the health and longevity of this. But now I think this is going to come at the expense of your house shows. I think this is where now you're going to see a lot more, to your point, Gully, a little earlier, about the reliance on social and the reliance on these other promotions to establish. That's where that responsibility is going to now.
Right. So leverage the landscape. You don't have to do it all yourself.
But what so where I'm curious on those, because UFC at one point there were plenty. There were like 2 or 3 other promotions, and they bought one of them.
Bellator.
Well, right. You had Bellator, and I'm trying to, Anthony Pettis. There's an Anthony Pettis fight, and it was the last one.
And it wasn't Bellator, right?
It was versus Benson Henderson. Okay.
Oh, Pettis Henderson. That was that last one.
But it was when they fought in a different promotion.
WEC.
Yep. Dude, I remember just my jaw dropped, right? And I knew that was it. They were, they were moving to UFC. Both of them were. And of course the fireworks came with it. But now, then I brought up the Ultimate Fighter and that type of thing and the success that it had. But UFC doesn't have this issue. You have college wrestling. You have global gyms that are
global gym.
That's right. The Purple Cobras. And that are teaching certain disciplines, like not, shock therapy if you're trying to eat that donut. And so I'm looking at that and saying, okay, there was they already have the grassroots aspects of this. Therefore, kind of re-emphasizing where some vulnerabilities are, but is the rural communities, the Erie, Pennsylvania kid, is the Altoona, Pennsylvania kid, is the Howlers in West Virginia going to be able to keep up with shows not coming to their local civic center?
Okay. See, Mrs. Alva, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. Right?
Oh, man. So, again, this whole thing here is certainly an interesting. I don't want to take away from the fact that all the positives, right? But I don't know things in a very macro lens that I think most
right. But you have to capture this, though, right? You have to capture. You have to capture. It would be wise. It would behoove WWE to make these overtures outside of the traditional domestic landscape. And so having a pay-per-view to do it, I would much rather them do a pay-per-view in Japan than them starting to do the weekly shows. Like, hey, we're in Japan for, well, understanding that I know whenever they go out of the country, the follow-up show is also going to be there. So I think isn't Crown Jewel was Saturday. They're in same area for Monday Night Raw, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm saying rather than them on a one-off situation doing SmackDown from London and that's it, while they're several weeks away from a pay-per-view, if you will. I would much rather have them do the pay-per-view, so that way you have that premium level excitement and atmosphere to make an overture to try to increase reach, and thereby also grabbing potential talent, future talent, inspiring and encouraging them to give WWE an opportunity, or try WWE as an opportunity for them to become superstars. I don't know that it does have a negative impact on the local element, the grassroots element of what sports entertainment is from the WWE. I don't know that it negatively affects that significantly.
No, and I'm gonna agree with you on that point, only because we've seen that model work, right? Like, yes, Vince had to make Hogan, become larger than life,
right?
But as time went on, there were plenty of other individuals that had backgrounds. He wasn't grabbing them out of just anywhere. They weren't coming fresh off the street or something. So, the Von Erichs and such, you know what I mean? Like that type of, there was a reason those guys were household names in their respective regions.
So it was shrewd because we pride ourselves on farm to table, built, not bought. However, and that was the big issue, right? When Vince did that, when he acquired the talent, he went to, he did to go head, he went head up with NWA, with the National Wrestling Alliance that became WCW. That's what he did. He bought Stampede Wrestling. That's why Bret Hart became him. That's why Bret Hart is a talent. Not Smoky Mountain, but he bought these smaller independents and brought them under one umbrella. It's like, if you're big enough and you're entertaining, right? We're entertainment, right? This same strategy happens in all aspects of our commercial lives, right? So this is the Walmart effect. Okay, if I'm big enough to be able to sustain it all, why don't I just buy the smaller markets instead of developing my generic product and allowing it to grow? Why don't I just acquire theirs and just slap great value on it and then call it a day? I recognize the damage it has to the local community in that case, but that same practice here in the realm of sports entertainment, I get it, because we want to see talent that is developed. Like, we don't want to see botched matches, or paying the market that we would pay for going to a premium live event, going to a live event, going to a house show. We don't want to see amateur hour there. We could use the local programs for that. So why not, if you're big enough, and we're talking about entertainment here, you leverage the guys who have ears on the ground to develop and cultivate those guys to the next level. Once we have enough visibility from our view, because they're cultured and they're nourished enough, then we'll go ahead and bring them to our system. So I don't, in that sense, I don't necessarily mind it, because I see it from a different lens. And I don't think it's a poor reflection of the homegrown developmental territory to be acquired by the big guy, because the homegrown guy, I don't think that they did that just to be there forever, unless they're financially secure and they're good and they just love doing what they do and they don't need anything bigger from it, just other than to stay in their local area, other than to stay in the Alabama, in the Alabama, Arkansas, Georgia area. If they're fine with that, just staying there, then I can see why they would be upset being acquired by a bigger fish that's going to have them travel. I get it. But largely speaking, when we talk about entertainment, I get it. Leverage the smaller guys that have ears on the ground to do it. And then when their talent wants bigger, they'll already be ready for us. That's what happened.
Yeah. And unfortunately, what we're going to witness, there is a fallout to that, and just kind of putting it boldly, we're witnessing it with folks like Xavier Woods and Selena Vega and others that, Bobby Lashley. And this is why I'll end it from my end with this. This is why everyone that is a fan of sports entertainment and pro wrestling needs to support AEW. This is the benefit of having two mainstream programs.
Yes. And we got to give some more love to AEW. I got to give some more love to AEW. We need to give more AEW.
Well, I tuned in. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, I was on the road.
I know. I'm just messing with you.
But it's fair. But you're right. I as much as I say that, the activity behind me saying that, qualifying my words, qualifying my feelings, is taking action. Taking action on it is watching the program, buying the pay-per-views.
Crown Jewel. Speaking of overseas promotion, took place over the weekend, right in the thick of things, and we had quite a few matches to get into. Where to start? So
start with the first match.
Do you really? Yeah.
Let's start with the whole Samoa showdown.
Absolutely. How do you feel about the new bloodline defeating the OGs?
I like it. At this point, Solo needs a new finisher. Oh my gosh, that is so basic. And I think his finisher is what made it anticlimactic. I'm serious. Like, all right, I know that Roman Reigns has the Superman punch and a spear, but it's something that when you see it, it's like you actually see both the sender and the recipient clash, and you get to see a wild expression. That Samoa Spike, like he need a kick or something, a kick, a face plant, even a forward, a front face DDT. His Samoa Spike was so, and you can tell that even the audience, they looked at it like he needs a new finisher. Overall, yeah, I think it was cool to actually have him win. But the finish was kind of like was missing. The finish was missing. It was missing a lot. And I think it was some confusion. Like, how would you have the OTG original bloodline lose, then get beat up, then Sami Zayn to come out, and then get beat up again, or something to that effect? It was kind of confusing. It was lacking. The discord between Jimmy J and Roman, I kind of dig that. Like there were some good elements of it. I just think as a match, it didn't pay off very well. And I feel like Solo needed a new finisher.
Yeah, no disagreements for me on that. Only one thing I will point out, unfortunately, it was revealed that Jacob Fatu, prior to his WWE involvement, had skipped a nonprofit event in which he had received about a small sum of money, and just has failed to give it back. Look, in my best PR voice, our game plan would be go there, and personally hand them whatever that amount was, maybe with a little bit of interest,
right? And
sign a couple autographs for them to auction off, and then get back on the road.
No, I'm laughing because I'm just thinking about the footage of where Vince McMahon made the Ultimate Warrior apologize to that kid. Yo, he was not having it. He was not. He was not. He was like, I don't know what. Oh man. Yo, that's what I think of when you say like just go there. Like check if I do like what am I here for? Like, I didn't want to go for a reason. Like, all right, man, just let me just send the money. Oh man, he made him cut that promo. Ultimate Warrior didn't make sense already, but then he didn't make sense, and he was frustrated.
Bro, why do I want to like risk it all and play it?
Oh my gosh, man. Oh, listen, we gotta sit down. I think maybe one time we might just share that when we find the footage of that. That is hilarious.
I got it already, bro.
You got it. Oh man. Oh man. Oh boy. Oh, that is
we don't own the rights to this part of it. All right, people, get on my back. Like,
oh boy, yeah.
It's Vince apology, but not in the Warriors character.
What am I? I mean, I'm humbly apologizing, but I'm not saying what I'm humbly apologizing for.
That's right.
I know what the gimmick's for, but I mean, what's it for?
In 3, 2.
I understand that there comes times in everyone's life when they may regret certain things. That they. This. Yeah, I know. I don't know what the to say. I didn't say that.
I understand that.
Well, no, you don't, because I'm making a videotape to some kid.
It's a
work. Apology.
It's a work. That's all it is. It's a work. We're working here. That's it.
I'm working here. There's 2 matches left. I'm working here making an apology for something I didn't do. This guy's really whatever I should have, whatever it's supposed to have said to the guy. I wish I had said to the guy.
Me too.
Did you get that at the end?
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, me too. I wish you had said to the guy right now was me too. Oh, so you know what? But actually, for the first time I got it, so it seemed like they was on the same page, and Vince didn't really want him to do it, but he knew he had to save face.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So it was like, I don't even know what I'm apologizing for. So I wish I had really said to the guy, yeah, I wish you had said it too. Like, I don't feel like being here either, but bro, we got to get this done. This is what I don't understand. I don't know what I'm
and then here comes Bret Hart. What am I doing out there?
What am I doing out here? Bret Hart. Yo, we gotta have another segment, man. I just thought about this. And I've said this before, but we gotta bring that up. If maybe I need to get the console game, one of the consoles again, we got to do something. Build it and book it. Fantasy match. You tell me how it's going to go. And maybe we could play it or reenact it in one of the games in 2K24 or something like that. So when I say it, it's like build it and book it. Savage versus HBK for the WWE Championship. Build it and book it. What's the premise? How does the match go? Who gets the 1, 2, 3? That's the first one. Build it and book it. Right? Build it and book it. I had one in mind, but I think I had already shared it in one of our previous shows. I had another match. Build it and book it. Who wins? How does it happen? So build it and book it. Savage, HBK. I know the promos are going to be outstanding.
Give me a triple threat Inferno match. Sting, Taker, Kane.
Ooh. Triple threat Inferno match. Sting, Taker, Kane.
There's enough juice just with 2. But let me be different.
Mm-hmm.
Because I I feel like an Inferno match of Kane and Sting by itself would be warranted. The obvious of Taker and Sting, no, goes without saying.
You know what?
So why not take you back to that particular WrestleMania era?
Okay.
And throw the three together, which
That is the way that you can get Sting over the Undertaker while preserving the Undertaker's legacy, but while protecting all of their legacies. What happens is Sting will end up pinning Kane and getting the win in the match, but not really beating the Undertaker. And that's something that'll leave both of them seething. You get what I'm saying? Sting, I don't know, out of nowhere, gives a scorpion death drop on Kane, gets the 1, 2, 3, wins the match, and Undertaker and Sting are looking at each other, knowing this isn't how I wanted to do this, and I don't like it as much as you don't like it, but I did get the win.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And see, all I had to do was just give you a little bit of the ingredients there, and you knew
we got to make that happen. We got to make that happen on the console. We need 3 controllers together. Make it happen. Give it a match.
You know who would be like entertaining, like just purely entertaining? You tell me if you like this. Give me a Ziggler Flair.
Ziggler Flair. Yeah. And you know what's amazing about it? Flair would put Ziggler over if the conditions were right.
Uh-huh.
At the same time, I wouldn't mind seeing Flair at a certain age.
I'm going early 90s, so I'm going like 92.
You know what? You can give me 2000 Flair over Ziggler. You can give me late 90s Flair. But you say early 90s. You get 40-year-old Flair. Oh yeah. That's a great match.
Flair, look, I mean, obviously the comparisons are there, but it would be, I don't know, like it just adds, there's substance to it.
Right.
That's the thing. I would allow creative to creative it.
Yep.
Knowing that it is very much a blank canvas that they have nothing but opportunity with.
This Flair, well, we end the match. Flair does take a zigzag. Flair ends up making Ziggler submit to the figure 4. I think he puts it on him like 3 times. I think he gets it on him 3 times.
Man.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I think like too low hanging fruit, which still very well could occur, is like something like a Punk Austin. I just feel like that's too easy. Like when if I'm gonna go dream matches, I want to go with something that just unfortunately it would take, like you said, give me something that I would not be able to see today, unfortunately, which is like a Brock Lesnar versus a Big Papa Pump.
Nah, I told you what mine would be.
You're sticking to that one. You don't. Give me your other two.
No.
What do you got? I mean, look, I'm going wild here. I'm going, look. Steiner, Lesnar, like
no,
names you typically throw together here.
Brett versus Brock.
Whoa.
How do you build that one and who wins? I think Brock wins that match. I think I still have Brock winning that match. But I think what happens in that match is that Brett's resilience shows up. And I think he just takes one too many F5s.
Right.
Like,
Wow.
I think what happens is Brett, they start out, Brett is very cautious. Brock is a heavyweight wrestler, but Brett is a technical professional wrestler. But I think Brett surprises Brock with his ability to get out of some of them holes. Like, Brock tries to bully him at first, but Brett smartly rolls out of the way of the corner. He goes in the corner, tries to get him in the corner. Brett puts a knee up, gets outside the ring. Anyways, Brock tries to run out him. Brett quickly runs back in. As Brock gets up on the turnbuckle, Brett attacks him. Bam, gives him a forearm, sends Brock back down to the side. Brett quickly runs out, goes after the knee, tries to work him down, but Brock is just too powerful. Brock smashed him over him to the back, and then Brock just starts to pummel Brett. Pummel him on the outside, punish him on the outside, brings him back in, try to set him up. Brett gets crafty, poke to the eye, gets back up, smash another elbows, those European uppercuts of Brett's, famously European uppercuts from Brett, gets Brock down. And he boots to the face, classic Brett boots to the face. But again, it's Brock. He's powerful. Then he's getting mad. So he's smashing him off, pushes him off of him. Violent push. Then he gets Brett. Brett gives him his back, takes him to Suplex City. 1, 2. And I know Brett doesn't like to be pinned and slammed on his back. Undertaker had to tell him, it's not always about you. But he goes to Suplex City a couple of times. And right when Brock wants to finish him off, he tries that F5. Brett punches him to the throat, reverses it, puts him in a Russian leg sweep. And then comes back quickly, second rope, elbow, punches him, gets up, starts working the leg. Brett starts working the leg of Brock. I'm giving away too much. I'm giving away way too much. But I think Brock does get the win over Brett, even though Brett is like my favorite professional wrestler of all time. Yeah, he's my favorite. But it's a classic match. It is a classic match.
Give me your take on this.
All right.
Okay, I'm going to give you just this part of it, and I want you to make the dream match.
Okay.
All right. All I have is this half, and because I personally have struggled with this. Again, the triple threat.
I don't like triple threats for titles.
No. The triple threat, meaning Dean Malenko. That triple threat.
Yeah.
Give me 3 that could actually go against them. That can actually hold up with them. That's the thing. Like, I tried going with like some of the AEW guys that have had success that would have worked. I want to say that what were they? The Super Click back in the day. Then I thought about the original Click.
Yep.
And then I thought about a couple different.
Hold on, wait.
Horsemen versus.
Hold on. The triple threat included. Who were they?
From WCW?
Yeah.
So again, the original members of the triple threat were basically Benoit.
Yep.
Douglas and Malenko. Now remember, Shane Douglas was huge in ECW, at least from
Yeah.
My own personal vantage
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
But I think he was a 3 or 4x champion.
Yeah. Shane Doug. Yeah.
And then,
So
of
you
course,
said Benoit.
I know the word Benoit is like, gets censored today, but I'm going to say it anyway for what it was worth. As a wrestler, not anything else, just relax.
Yeah, man. That's the thing, man. We got to talk about that at another point too. Professional wrestling the gift is like comic books. These are personas that are timeless because inside of the realm of the ring, they can all exist. Outside of the ring, these are humans and all that. So I don't know many of these guys personally, but professionally is the only area by which I know them. And inside of this one aspect of these personas. And so for that reason, I can talk about Chris Benoit, but I can tell you every time I do, it's this line that goes across my face, almost like this: the wrestler and what he did to his family. And I can't unsee it. You know what I'm saying? The wrestler and what he did to his family. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a line. It's a slash. It's not even left or right, up or down. It's a slash because it's hard to see one without the other at a certain point. But if you talk about the triple threat, you have the obvious. The Shield don't even stand a chance against that triple threat.
But the Shield had 4. Well,
no, they only had 3.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, you're right. That's the thing that they wouldn't.
Yeah, the Shield.
That's not good enough. In my opinion, the Super Click wasn't good enough. And then most of the other groups had 4. So then I started thinking of the 4 Horsemen.
Yep.
Or an insert, but I feel like the NWO thing would have been.
They wouldn't have been able to see. To me, that wouldn't be believable if you had the Outsiders and Hogan. Nah, because when you at a certain point, right, when we're talking about like the triple threat, those guys were wrestlers.
That's
and so
what I'm saying, dude.
That style of wrestling is in stark contrast to what you would get from, even if you can get it from Hall and Nash. Once you put Hogan into the picture, it's a whole different match, and it's not even believable. Hogan can work with Hall, with Nash, with Goldberg, and you know what type of match you're gonna get. With this one, you can't put Hogan in there. It don't fit. It doesn't fit. It's 2 left shoes.
So what about your Canadian combos?
Yeah.
Could your Hart Dynasty?
Right. Listen, Jim, Brett, and Owen versus triple threat.
Mm-hmm.
Or Jericho, Mysterio, and Scott Norton.
Oh man.
Yeah.
But see, now you're trying to triple threat, right?
Yeah. Jericho, Rey Mysterio, Scott Norton versus triple threat. You want to talk about a match? I don't know how to call it.
But dude, that is so like, that is the essence of it. Like that is you're going Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
It's over. This is over 9,000 people. Like this is
this is furniture moving. This is yes. That Saiyan registry. Yeah, that's a triple threat for you. We got to think of some of these matches. You know, we need to post some.
Yeah. I mean, look, that's you don't have to give us
Raw, and we got to get these people home.
Right, and get ourselves actually.
Yeah.
Where we don't cause an accident in the morning.
Yeah.
So moving along back to Crown Jewel in this century, unfortunately. We had the women's title, of course, Bianca Belair and Jade retained.
Yes.
Wasn't terrible, but it certainly had some hiccups again.
What do you think is that? Is that
This? I look, bro. I'm gonna say it this way.
Mhm.
To your point about Hogan earlier,
yeah.
some of the most legendary names couldn't make it today because nobody hates wrestling more than wrestling fans.
Well stated. Well stated.
You have to be perfect now. Because otherwise, again, I'm going to keep quoting freaking Coldplay here, where we're going to end up having, somebody, our copyright infringement.
We're going to get a takedown notice from
Universal
Chris
Music
Martin.
Group for It Was All Yellow.
Right.
So I think about that frequently because I don't want to be. I get it. I see it.
Mm-hmm.
I see it's not that clean.
Okay.
And I turn on AEW and I see some of that there too.
Do you see?
But
better...
you have to. Do you remember like Wabi Sabi? Right? Isn't that beauty and imperfection?
Yes.
Like it's. I almost swore. Like, come on, dude. Like, at what point? Name something that everybody's perfect at.
Right. Nothing. Nobody's perfect. It just. But why does it seem more obvious?
Oh man, I was trying to give us an out.
Yeah, but I'm saying so. No. It could be inadvertent chauvinism. We looking harder at them than we would. Like, we looking harder at them than we would Jimmy and Jey Uso. And as much as we skewered that match.
Now, hang on a second now. The Yeet Man, okay, my best Rikishi. The Yeet Man has outsold everybody.
Really? Merchandise?
Yeah, I would have to Google. I'm going off the top of the dome. I know for a fact. Do
you think talent-wise, you think he's ready to ready for that title?
The fact that they jobbed him like that.
Yeah.
He's too big of a star now. This is trying to jam Cisco back during Enter the Dragon.
Yeah.
That's why he walked off stage. It's. Are you liking the Sami Zayn thing? I mean, I know we'll get to that with tonight's Raw too, but felt like as far as bloodline and as it pertains to Crown Jewel,
mm-hmm.
I'll answer my own perspective at least to that question, which is I think he saved it.
Sami Zayn did?
Yes.
I like to see where you're going with that.
That it was running stale.
Yeah, he don't really have nothing to do now. And it does make sense. It does. They made it make sense, at least.
Mm-hmm. But as far as Jade and Bianca go,
mm-hmm.
I think as we tie it into tonight's Raw, you'll see that something you theorized quite a while ago, I think, is inching ever closer.
Thank you. Yes. Yes. That's what I've been waiting for.
So it's not quite Xavier. It's not quite New Day. But it's getting there. So
Getting there.
yeah, I do like your point though that maybe we do have them under a different zoom of a microscope.
Right.
Like for example, but it wasn't just them. Like, Io Sky, missed the catapult move.
Mm-hmm.
Chelsea Green got slammed on her side instead of her back when she was tagged in.
Yeah. These things are, it's hard to dismiss them. Like we see them. Do we see that? Do we see these type of miscues from AEW talent this consistently?
Some. To me though,
To be honest
that's a
with
totally
you,
different show. And
I'll tell you what,
you can't look at those the same.
No,
and it needs to be that way. Like, when you watched GCW back in the day,
Uh-huh.
or even WCW, did you really watch them? Like, even though we were going back and forth, right?
Yeah.
But you were going back and forth in order to capture what they were doing, not how it compared to what the other was doing.
Fair enough.
That's what's being missed here. We're looking at it today like, oh man, this is where the storyline is going here. And these guys are freaking all so green that it looks like, they the scene from The Sandlot and they're on the roller coaster or whatever,
Yeah.
They just had the chewing tobacco. Like, no, it's not the same program. That crowd is a lot more intimate. There's nothing wrong with it being a smaller venue. Ask ECW.
Right.
Like, come on. Like, Paul Heyman knows it. So I don't want them. I want everybody to be able to enjoy them for what they're trying to do, which is not to emulate one another.
Right.
And so seeing what would appear as a miscue.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't. You take it away. You got to run with that.
All right. We talk about a lot of matches that when we see the women's matches, usually it's like a tag team, mixed tag team. There's like 6-8 members out there. I feel like that's a high volume of that's a lot of people for you to remember what's going on, or for you to know, or for you to attack, right? If we're working on it or if it's a shoot, regardless. And I think that oftentimes causes the confusion is because mentally as individuals, these talents are looking for a lot and waiting for a lot of cues. It's like a play and everybody has parts almost at the same time. The dialogue is almost at the same time. And so it leads to rushing, it leads to forgetfulness, and it leads to not finishing finishing your breakfast or finishing what's in front of you. So we get a lot of mistakes.
So then let me ask you this, right? Because part of this fallout lately is Baron Corbin, right?
Yeah.
So it's been reported that he was filming a Netflix commercial 6 days before it was announced he would be departing WWE when they declined his contract.
Wow.
He confirmed it, that was a fact. He was there. Bro, does that not sound like is Vince still there or not?
Right. The ghost, yeah, that's real Vince-ish. Right. Right. That's real McMahonish. Vince.
I mean, just minus the trash bag.
Yeah.
But this is what I mean. Like, how there's a level right now, and this is why I'm saying for everyone to just kind of take a deep breath and exhale. There is a huge transition occurring.
Mm-hmm.
Like at some point, this will be a paradigm shift for wrestling, even if it reverts back to what we were accustomed to if we were to look at it from just a map in the future. But you can, again, change, as they say in anything, is always uncomfortable.
Right.
There is a timing part to this that is vastly, like, it is just, it cannot be denied.
Okay.
What's occurring. It is bleeding over the curtain. And so, yeah, the product's going to suffer a little bit. And I think it's becoming, like, when stuff like this happening, remember, that's behind the curtain. So I'll leave that part of it as to potentially why, right? We talked about all the travel and so on and so forth. Look how many disgruntled people there are right now. When historically, Gully, can you ever say, outside of maybe WCW, did you see this volume of unhappiness?
I don't. We always like to complain no matter what in our eras, right? But I don't remember seeing this as much. And it could be a consequence of the social media effect. But we had the quote unquote dirt sheets back then and the hotlines that we can call that gave you the real scoop that wasn't bought and paid for by WCW or WWF. There was the wrestling reports or what have you. So even back then, there was access to be able to get authentic goings on behind the curtains, if you will. And even back then, there was some, talent here, don't like talent there, and so on and so forth. I don't remember seeing as much of it as I do now, though.
Right.
And that I can agree.
Absolutely. And so, again, moving on, the Women's World Championship, of course, Liv Morgan defeated Nia Jax. Any thoughts from you? Was that really a surprise to you at all, or?
Yeah. And I hate that I didn't see that. I gotta watch that match. Yeah. The fact that she won it, I gotta see how that happened. Because Nia Jax has been one that's known to have some miscues in her matches for sure. She stayed winning.
Well, but again, I felt like it was underdog versus monster. And of course, if you're, Tiffy Time was attempting to cash it in. And then, obviously a bunch of distractions.
Right.
We'll get into tonight's Raw, but I'm not surprised just because I didn't think the timing of it was right. So
okay,
that's my final thought there.
All right. Only other match I paid attention to was the main event. And that's Cody, the American Nightmare versus the Ring General. And I had to say, pretty decent match, pretty solid match. A lot of what they did made sense. I would have liked to see Gunther win, though.
Yeah, I would have also just I don't know. I just still am kind of
you over it when it comes to the American Nightmare's title run?
I think he's lived up to his name.
But how much of that is booking and how much of that is him?
Well, that's why, thankfully I look at everything with a little bit of a clear-eyed view and seeing everything else that's going on, it's like, this isn't. I feel like I'm asking for quite a bit, understanding what the heck is, the S storm that's happening behind the scenes.
Right.
Like there's only so much that's theoretically reasonable right now. So I will take what I can get. And did you like the ring concept?
Nah, man, they got that big belt and they can't even take it home.
Nope. It's gonna stay there for all to see and marvel at.
No, I absolutely was so upset when I found that out. All right, they get the rings and they get to keep those, but that huge belt, everything that they did to craft that and the plates and all, just for them not to be able to take it.
But what do you think about that though? Because that's more of like a Super Bowl ring type of deal now, right? It adds a different dynamic, kind of shows growth maybe to the company, and again gives you, the common person, a chance to actually get your hand on the real thing. Maybe not get your hand on it, but be very close to it.
Right. Yeah, I wish they'd had to been able to keep that belt.
Yeah, no disagreement. I again, we talked about change, man. Woof, and it's in the air.
Right.
I'm gonna leave it at that. It's in the air. I did want to point out, I did like the Orton and the Orton KO match because it just felt like Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
It was not what I thought was going to happen at a PLE, and that's okay with me. It was different and fantastic, right? Why the heck not? So I'm cool with that because it breaks the monotony, and so I'm okay with that. And as far as I think we missed just the LA Knight retaining in his triple threat.
Right. Good for him.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, pretty much, right? Like that one though, I would have said, like, honestly, if I were to kind of do my scale, right? Well, that's what, I should have asked you this first.
Okay.
If you would have did your Gully scale, which one would have had the highest grade?
The match of the night. See, I still gotta watch it because I didn't. Man, I'll tell you what, I missed. I didn't watch the best matches. I'll tell you that. I know that. I didn't watch the best matches at all, except for Cody and Gunther. And that match was a solid 3 out of 5.
Well, yeah, that wouldn't have been it for me.
What would you have had?
I felt like the Bronson Reed Seth Rollins match is something that you can take, or feud, if we want to call it that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a recipe that will be recycled more frequently under the new format because they didn't talk very much. So it defied the buildup, but this is what you can do when you have someone that's established with someone that is getting pushed.
Right. Okay. Makes sense.
So now you have something that you can cook with that, moving forward, this thing works.
Yeah.
They delivered. It wasn't my match of the night or anything, but it at least, I didn't feel like Seth, being as experienced as he is, I still could have at least semi-viewed him as the underdog.
Okay.
Like, it wasn't that over. Like it was close to even. There was of course, a variance there both ways, but size versus experience, and that's something. Again, think about how frequently we talk about those two things in other sports.
Right.
See what I mean? Now you have some ingredients there that I feel like are absolutely repeatable.
There we go.
Yeah, fantastic. So again, otherwise, quality PLE. I think that's what we're going to get used to.
Yep.
And otherwise, with that being said, we will take our next break and then quickly dive into tonight's Raw and, of course, end with our Name That Superstar.
It's Kate Cunningham, and you watching the Shop Report. I'm Harvey Diallo, and you watching the Shop Report.
It's Chris Murray, and you're watching the Shop Report.
You're Jay Knight, you're watching the Shop Report. It's Braxton Key, you're dropping in on the Shop Report.
Barbershop Jay, Quentin Hines, Super Bowl champion. I'm ready. Let's do it. I'm on.
Hi, I'm Mars Smith. We're from Mercury Stadium, and you're watching the Shop Report.
Hey, I'm Billy Butler, and thank you for watching the Shop Report. Hey guys, I'm Les Norman, former Kansas City Royal, and you're watching the Shop Report.
Commander Brown, Detroit Rivers Mountain Training, and I'm watching the Shop Report.
Hey, this is Doug Flynn of the New York Mets. Well, a few other teams, of course, too. And you're watching the Shop Report.
I'm Matt Ramos, and you're watching the Shop Report.
How you doing? I'm Rajay Davis, and you're watching the Shop Report.
How you doing? This is Nelson Figueroa, former Major League pitcher with a lot of teams. You're about to listen to the Shop Report.
Hey, this is Howard Johnson. You're watching the Shop Report.
What it do, sports fans? It's your man BSJ from the Shop Report. And guess what? The shop is now open for business, baby. If you're on Facebook, go to our fan page, The Shop Report, click on more, and then shop to view all products. Or if you're on Instagram, click on the shop tab to see all our products. I mean, what you want me to do? I'm selling merch here.
Indeed, we are. And with that, we are back, jumping right into tonight's Raw, which kicked off with a bang with Adam Pearce pointing out that, you know, while Liv, Raquel, and Dirty Dom were celebrating, and of course, taking out Rhea, Bianca and Jade interrupted. They want to face Liv and Raquel in a tag team match. And Adam Pearce then announced that there would be a battle royal to determine who the number one contender is for Liv's belt.
Ah, okay.
Now, that was a battle royal match, and the victor was none other than Io Sky. Interesting. And any thoughts to that?
When is Backlash supposed to be?
Right? Yeah, isn't that starting to make sense? Tozawa.
Right. All right, cool. Okay.
I just
so either we picking right along or we're ahead of the game. I don't think we too far ahead. I think we just following along.
We've done a very good job with this.
Yeah. Yeah.
For us as being insiders on the outside,
yeah,
we creatively we have been, on that yellow brick road. Hand in hand.
We've been easing on down the road.
Yeah, that's right. And moving right along.
Ooh.
Yeah. So the Wyatt Six, of course, kidnapped The Miz. There was a hilarious, speaking of social media, I think did I send this to you or tag you in it? Of the Final Testament guys. Like she was like, hey, Miz got kidnapped. And she was like, well, how long ago? And it was 20 minutes ago. And He was like, for 20 minutes, he's dead.
Oh. What?
From the hotel room, dude. It was brilliant. He was like, do we
Wow.
have to, go grab my coat, I guess.
Right. Wow.
Yeah, Karrion Kross wanted nothing to do with it.
He wanted nothing to do with it.
Do we have to go get him?
Wow.
I
Wow.
thought we wanted to order food and,
Yeah.
So ultimately, though, what I do want to point out also with this, Miz says there's been a misunderstanding. He is not with the Final Testament, so there's no reason for them to be after him. Bo Dallas then says they never wanted the Final Testament. They wanted him.
If this pays off in a Bo Dallas versus Miz match, thank you. I hope so, because what the Wyatt 6 is supposed to be. We talk about Cody's run. This here is I'm so embarrassed for what this is turning out to be compared to what it should be.
Really?
Yeah, all right. You got these 6 individuals together, this cult of personality, or cult of personalities, and they're picking off people who ain't got nothing else to do.
Well, now wait a minute. First, I'm going to take a little bit of a different perspective on it. I'm just going to point out that Bo Dallas has done a fantastic job as or Uncle Howdy, rather.
Yeah.
He sounds like his brother, dude.
That's not what I'm talking about. That's not the problem. That is the problem.
Oh.
That is the problem. What I'm saying is they're doing so much more than what they're getting.
But what would you want them to do? Remember, we're 2-hour show. 2-hour show.
Okay. What I'm saying is, when did Chad Gable face the Y6?
Well, now it was about a month ago.
All right. And before that?
It was all Chad Gable.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is I want them to rip apart the Miz. And maybe Miz puts himself in a position where he only got one thing left to do, and that's fight. And Bo Dallas and Miz have a great match, which is what I think can happen here. Or you just rip them apart, let them be another body that you laid waste to, and then move on. Otherwise, it just seemed like I kind of get it now. They're anti everything. And what else? That's what I'm saying.
Right. And I don't think you're wrong, and I can't believe I'm coming to the defense of this, but I'm trying to let me be the voice of reason.
Okay.
Get us in the creative on how to utilize and build, and more so not even just build, but sustain.
Okay.
Sustain relevance, even if it's because you said this earlier, and that's why I'm pointing this out. You said, where's the promos?
Yeah.
They're giving you vignettes.
They are. Yeah, they are. Okay.
So now what you're getting is actually the closest real life example to date of what your suggestion would appear to actually do or deliver on. Is that and what you're saying is that's not good enough?
What I'm saying is once they've established their presence in the promo And yeah, in the promo space and all, the build up to whatever happens inside the squared circle, I think, just needs to be a bit better. That's what I'm getting at. It's like they got everything right. Now, bring it home, justify the energy you put into Chad Gable by obliterating him or what have you. Justify the energy you can put in the Miz by obliterating him or what have you, or making him or develop him to stand up. That's what I'm saying. It's just like they do all that, and then the Angle goes into the ring to die.
I think that's why you avoid the ring.
Okay.
Right? Am I right? They tried, and then they wrestled Dark Gable 3 times.
Yeah.
And it was like you had, especially already in a woe is me crowd.
Yeah.
And this is getting old. You see, like it was losing it all then. Like it, and you spent months getting it, with that buildup.
Right.
So I to me, I think this is the best they can do. And you save it now. And this is what I mean. Like, you don't see your prelims.
Okay.
Your prelims are not your main events.
Fair.
So they need to be very selective in rolling these people out now. Okay. So, and that's where the pop should occur, because it's like, oh my gosh, they're actually here, right? It's not the TV, it's not social media, they are actually here.
Yeah.
The way that, when Kane's you could feel the flames, if you will.
Right.
I think he got burned on one of those.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, to me, I at least understand the direction. It may not be the best, but it's what they have to do. I think there's unfortunately no other direction to go. Otherwise, you end up with something like this here, which is the War Raiders defeated the New Day.
Boy, oh boy. You don't even got a screenshot for it, do you? That's okay.
Oh, my bad. There you go.
These guys defeated. These guys defeated the New Day. The push is a push. Cody, what's going on? Bring that comment up.
Oh, yep, here we go.
Hey, what's up, Cody?
Cody, we're breaking down tonight's Raw, if or anything squared circle related.
Yep.
By all means,
wrestling related.
You got it. And moving right along, it's probably one of the more entertaining parts of tonight, which is Sami Zayn and the Usos meet in the ring and discuss why Sami helped the Usos and Roman against the Bloodline at Crown Jewel. Jimmy Uso doesn't believe Sami, thinks he attacked Roman on purpose. Sami says Jimmy has no room to talk, as he attacked main event Jay in the past, and it was no accident. Jay invites Sami to come to SmackDown this Friday and meet with Roman so they can squash the beef into one fantastic patty, the smash burger.
Yeah. Hey, I like it, what you were saying about Zayn saving the basically saving this. And here's another example, right? Being able to put himself in story and getting the best out of both of the talent. Like I actually like it. I like it.
It was necessary, and I don't think it would have worked with, like, if you would have threw Kevin Owens there, doesn't work.
Nope. Had to be
Randy Orton. No.
You say Randy Orton, it don't work?
Nope.
Okay.
Had to be Sami Zayn.
Okay.
And I don't know if you'd caught SmackDown, but when it looked like he was playing both sides,
yeah,
and Jimmy was showing Jay,
yeah,
I was like, ooh, it really, for a moment, it actually got me. And to Cody's point, that's right. The 10th year anniversary for the New Day.
Yeah, it didn't go so well. Yeah, right, Cody. Didn't go so well at all. Oh boy.
That's right. Ron Killings. And Damian Priest met backstage. Of course, R-Truth doing his best. He actually called Butch by his other name. Said something to Dark Gable.
Yeah.
Oh, he called him Kurt Angle.
My bad, R-Truth. Yeah.
And he did apologize for kicking Priest out of the Judgment Day.
Yeah.
Claims that Tom and Nick Mysterio got in his head.
Yeah. Yeah. He's good for a good laugh.
Cody's asking, are we going to see end of New Day?
Yes, we are. We're going to see the end of it. And yeah, we're going to see the end of it.
Well, and you're asking about your next Wyatt 6 victim.
That should be.
Because for a while there, I thought one of the two were going to end up in the Final Testament.
Right.
And maybe that's what they're setting this up for. Maybe this becomes Dark Gable with the existing Final Testament.
Okay.
Then you end up with Miz, and then you end up with with one of the New Day members.
Yep.
Where everyone is like, we've had enough.
Right.
Or, depending on how long this torture continues.
Yeah.
And who else, has, I could see them going after Jimmy Uso at one point in time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, you could put a makeshift group of 6 together.
Mm-hmm.
Just simply of victims, if you will.
Okay.
Against the actual group. And I think it would be fantastic theater.
He says there are some issues with New Day. Yes, there are.
Completely agree. The Big E element of this is the only wild card for me that I don't know if he returns, how much that could change things.
Right.
But again, if and when, hopefully he becomes able to return at some point.
Yeah.
We did get some more momentum.
Okay.
If you will. A little bit more of a push. Dragon Lee was over today. Speaking of Dark Gable. And look, I think this was a lose-lose.
Yeah.
Because heel Gable turned fan favorite. He's taken L's left and right, and he's become kind of more of unfortunately, a little bit more of a joke. Obviously, I brought up the R-Truth thing. But if Dragon Lee had lost, then his level of obscurity would have been what we would have complained about. So,
right.
I'm at least being honest.
Yeah. Yeah, I get you on that. I get you on that.
Then we finally get a potential taste of some things to come, which
Yeah.
is Damian Priest, of course, beating Sheamus, Dirty Dom, and Seth in a fatal 4-way to become the #1 contender for Gunther's heavyweight title.
Oh.
In which case he was confronted following this by Gunther himself.
This looks good.
My only issue, here we go. Let's see. Cody saying not good for Zayn on Friday.
You saying coming up this Friday or last Friday?
Yeah, no, this Friday. Because again, to his point, if you remember, I brought up that on this upcoming SmackDown, they're gonna have them squash the beef and make smash burgers.
Yeah.
Best case scenario.
Yeah, you said that.
That's right. So my thing is this, though. Tiffy Time had stated that if she would have won, this was on Friday, if she would have won, she wanted to cash in, take the title, but she also wanted to take Dom with her. So if it were me, Dom is scorching hot here.
Yeah.
Would now have been the most appropriate time to put him, to swap him with Priest? Obviously, that's not how that fatal 4-way turned out. But again, thoughts? Or do we like the custody battle angle?
You know what? I'm good on that. I'm good on it. Maybe I'm traumatized from child support. I don't know. But yeah, I'm good. I'm good on that. I'm good on the custody battle. What I'm saying is, I'm seeing more from Gunther. I'd like to see more from Priest. See what the hype is. And is it was Gunther the guy that took the away from Priest?
Wait a minute.
I thought it was.
Whoa. Why am I spazzing on that?
Yeah, bro. Like, I think it was. So it's good. It's about time for some get back. Gunther needs challengers. He's a champion, and he's carrying himself like a champion. I really wish he would have won the main event at Crown Jewel too. Ain't that something? That I'm saying that I'm in the bag for Gunther. But yeah, I think Gunther is the one that took the title from.
Yeah, at SummerSlam, dude. You're right. It was Damian Priest at SummerSlam. All right.
Yeah.
So now that angle works. I mean, I just felt like Dom was scorching hot, but at the same time, pause. But
yeah, bro. Whoa.
Right. To change the background.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, it makes sense. I guess it makes sense in that, from that regard. It'll be, who would you have, in your opinion, who would have liked out of those four? Seth Rollins, Dirty Dom, Sheamus, Priest versus Gunther.
Restate.
With if you could, would that have been your choice, or would you have picked any other of those four?
Nah, leave as is. Leave that as is. I think that's a good mix. I think they all serve. Yeah, I would leave as is. I wouldn't move anything.
Perfect. All right.
Yeah.
Well, with that being said, that was the conclusion of tonight's Raw.
Mm-hmm. Priest back for that title, baby.
All right. And so with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we have just one. Oh, here we go. We got a comment here from Cody. Wood's going to turn heel on the 10th anniversary. Oh my gosh, on the 10th anniversary to the day.
Yeah.
What do you think, Gully? Is that the day?
Yeah.
Is that the new day's day for? Is it a new day for a new day?
Yeah.
Like
going to turn heel on the 10th. Yeah. Going heel on the 10th anniversary of the new day. Happy anniversary. We done. Like, yeah, that would actually be while predicted by the smart marks, which is us, it's actually worth having. You know, it's actually eventful. So to have Woods turn heel would be rather eventful. I going.
Wow. Well, we are going to take our final break of the evening.
Yep.
And then probably to the surprise of many will be who our Name That Superstar contestant, or with an S, is. We'll see if you'll be able to get it.
All right. I'm looking forward to it.
Right after these messages
from our sponsor. Be right back.
Cleaning the cracks on your pavement surfaces can take hours and be torturous on your body. Until now. Cracky Weed Removal Tool was designed specifically to clean pavement cracks in a fraction of the time, all while standing up. Cracky's patented design incorporates a two-sided steel blade and is encased by a durable fiberglass shell. Simply use the large end to clean big gaps, then rotate and use the small tip for narrow gaps. Made in the USA, Cracky eliminates weeds to the root and is environmentally friendly. Cracky, save your back while you clean your crack.
What it do, sports fans? It's your man BSJ from the Shop Report. And guess what? The shop is now open for business, baby. If you're on Facebook, go to our fan page, The Shop Report, click on More, and then Shop to view all products. Or if you're on Instagram, click on the Shop tab to see all our products. I mean, what you want me to do? I'm selling merch here.
It's K Cunningham, and you watching the Shop Report. I'm Army Diallo, and you watching the Shop Report.
My name's Chris Murray, and you're watching the Shop Report.
Oh, you're Jay Nolly, you're watching the Shop Report.
It's Braxton Key, you're dropping in on the Shop Report.
Barbershop Jay, Quentin Hines, Super Bowl champion. I'm ready. Let's do it. I'm on.
Hi, I'm Mars Man, works from Mercury Stadium, and you're watching the Shop Report.
Hey, I'm Billy Butler, and thank you for watching the Shop Report. Hey guys, I'm Les Norman, former Kansas City Royal, and you're watching the Shop Report.
Commander Brown, Detroit Rivers Mountain Training, and I'm watching the Shop Report.
Hey, this is Doug Flynn of the New York Mets. Well, a few other teams, of course, too. And you're watching the Shop Report.
I'm Matt Ramos, and you're watching the Shop Report.
How you doing? I'm Rajay Davis, and you're watching the Shop Report.
How you doing? This is Nelson Figueroa, former Major League pitcher with a lot of teams. You're about to listen to the Shop Report.
Hey, this is Howard Johnson. You're watching the Shop Report.
All right, and just like that, we are back.
We are back, ready to round it up and ready to get back, ready to go home.
We did have a comment from Cody.
Don't cry, Cody. All good things must come to an end. And the next chapter for the New Day is that final chapter. Imagine a great match. Coffee versus Xavier at a pay-per-view near you.
All right. And so, D Gully.
Yes, sir.
Before I put up our contestant for today, I just want to confirm you've been on you're batting about 500 here.
Yeah. Been on the downswing, but I came back up. Last week.
All right. Are you ready?
Yeah, I think I'm ready, man. I think I'm ready. Go ahead, hit me.
All right. D Gully. This individual began his career as enhancement talent in March of 1993. He wrestled Lex Luger and even scored an upset against Erwin Shyster. He was, of course, ultimately signed to a full-time deal and was ultimately given this gimmick. And he overcame this gimmick because of his in-ring ability. And despite having moderate success, by the late 90s, he would join a different brand that we discussed that was smaller and more intimate, but very well known, where he was rebranded with a much more familiar name.
Sabu?
Name that superstar.
Sabu?
That is not Sabu.
Hold on. I jumped out the tree with that one. Hold on. Wait a minute. I jumped out the tree with that enhancement talent. Upset victory over IRS. I know his face. ECW talent.
Now, again, he did wrestle and defeat Lex Luger. I'm sorry, he wrestled at least Lex Luger. I don't know for sure if he defeated him or not. But again, if it helps, an additional hint is that other brand he went to where he was retitled was ECW.
Oh, I know he went to ECW. That's why the first name I said was Sabu. But no, it wasn't Sabu.
And Cody, if you're in there, or, if you're still with us, like many of you are, by all means, you can help D Gully out here with some guesses yourself on name that superstar. And unfortunately, we're not talking about the cat. Shout out to that squirrel, by the way, that was savagely euthanized.
Oh, God, yeah.
Unbelievable.
For no reason, right? Hold on. Stars at ECW.
Let's see if I can give some better hints here.
No. I don't want you to get too many because then they feel like you're giving it away. All right, stars at ECW. Yeah, Douglas. Yeah, Raven. Yeah, Raven. Douglas. That's not Tommy Dreamer.
No, that would be too easy.
Yeah.
He's too relevant even today.
Right. Yeah, Dreamer. Raven. Yeah, Douglas.
I'm trying to get, again, I want to give people their flowers, especially in under the circuit, regardless if they're still here, which of course this individual is. So
no, you're gonna have to give me that answer, bro.
How about this? I will give you an additional clue. Again, he left around 1998 for ECW or to ECW, if that helps. But this particular gimmick that we're referring to did also have a mask that was very questionable.
Masked wrestler. ECW masked wrestler.
No. He lost the mask by ECW.
Right.
This one's, dude, I'm telling you now, when I tell you this, it's going to bug you.
All right, hold on. Don't tell me then.
Because he was, I would have said, above average successful.
What's the guy, the baseball guy with the face?
I know who you're talking about, but it's not him.
All right, then you got to show me then.
All right. So D. Gully, the individual that we're actually referring to here, it's none other.
Juan Pablo Montoya.
No, unfortunately, that's NASCAR. The individual we're talking about here is Peter Joseph Polanco, who was actually, again, enhancement talent, and he was given the horrendous gimmick, otherwise known as Aldo Montoya, as you see here with the jockstrap mask.
Yeah, Aldo Montoya.
But when he left to ECW, he was otherwise known as Justin Credible.
Wow, I missed that. Yeah, Aldo Montoya. I said Juan Pablo, but that was Aldo Montoya for sure. Okay, just incredible. Got it. Wow, and he wasn't bad. No, he was great actually.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah,
I put it mildly by saying above average because you know everybody would.
Yeah, you got to understand.
He wasn't that good.
Yeah.
You know, like all right, you know, well, everybody's a critic.
Yeah, Aldo.
All right, we're gonna give you one more swing at the bat here.
All right,
and we're gonna do it quick.
Okay.
So let me just make sure I
should have had that one. Just incredible, Aldo.
Dude, I'm telling you, yeah, that one. I think if I would have went with just incredible as the original, I think you would have gotten it faster.
Yeah.
That would have been a little too easy. Let's see here if I can.
All right, fine.
Oh, here we go. Yep, here we go. Perfect. All right, D. Gully, your next individual that name that superstar. This individual his gimmick would actually remind you in appearance of someone in the modern day, the present, at least a present WWE member, but not currently their character, if you will.
Okay.
But this individual, also in the early 90s,
yep,
wrestled primarily at house shows and dark matches. But in 1995, he made his only television appearance on an episode otherwise known as Wrestling Challenge. He defeated jobber Tony DeVito with a roll-up pin. And he otherwise was better known for removing the boxer shorts of referee Earl Hebner. D. Gully, name that superstar.
Enhancement talent, dark matches, 1995. Remove the boxer. I don't have. I'm over 2, bro. I'm at Shaq at the line, bro. Who is that?
All right. So Let's see if I can give you, if there's any other clue here that I can give. Yes, again, unfortunately, after he magically, if that helps, he magically removed the boxer shorts of Earl Hebner.
This ain't the original Doink.
It is not. D. Gully, name that superstar.
Man, I'm over 2, bro.
Oh no.
Yes.
Well, this may look familiar to you. Let's see here. I'll try to get this. I would have liked to have done a side by side if I would have had that ready. Oh, I had a better image.
All right. I'm waiting. Who could it be? Who could it be that I missed? Now I'm 0 for 2 on Name That Superstar.
Yeah, this individual actually had two, went by 2 names. But unfortunately, so D. Gully, the individual that we're actually looking for is none other than Harry Del Rios. And Harry Del Rios, of course, was portrayed a babyface magician named Fantasio, in which, of course, he defeated jobber Tony DeVito with a roll-up pin. And after the match, he magically removed the boxer shorts of referee Earl Hebner. And after only one TV appearance, Fantasio magically vanished to the delight of many.
Wow.
But
yeah, man.
When I show you this,
yep.
Here we go. Oh, wait a minute.
Oh my! All right. I'm like, wait a minute. Stardust with 2 people. Oh, I'm like, wait a minute. Stardust. Wow, Fantasio.
There you go.
That's terrifying right there.
If Cody were to do that, does that not look like it works here?
Yeah.
I know he hates that, but they're more or less maybe why I'm doing it. So there you go. There you have it. The great Fantasio.
Fantasio and Just Incredible. I got, man, I whiffed on Fantasio and Just Incredible. I need to start studying faces more. Looking at some biographies and career retrospectives. I've been getting beat up on them. I started strong, man, but it's, you know what? We're getting into the thick of it, bro.
And that's just it. Yeah, we got to keep you on your toes, but more importantly, trying to revive some of those of yesteryear, no matter how long or how short their television and wrestling careers were, at least because, again, for example, with Harry Del Rios, he may have not had a long WWE career, but he was a part of the Memphis circuit for a very long time also. Right. So again, that's why doing our best to shed light on, especially because these other promotions are, and if you have a promotion out there and want us to promote it, by all means, the shop report 365@gmail.com and just put attention turnbuckle, and we will gladly do that for you. But yeah, definitely want to continue to shed light on some of these guys of the past and give our resident guru a true litmus test.
Yes.
At 12:30 in the morning.
For sure. Tests, pop quiz all the time. Well, we thank y'all for joining us this Monday night November the 5th now.
Right.
On the turnbuckle here. We are always glad to have you. We'll be talking more wrestling, more AEW, more WWE next week. And throughout the week, you can reach us on our socials. You can reach me, WYM Gully, on Twitch and on YouTube. The Shop Report 365. That's our Gmail. We are on all the socials here, the X and the Facebook and the Instagram, and brought to you by StreamYard here. We'll be back Wednesday, new start time for the Shop Report with our main host, Barbershop Jay, the one and only. We started at 9 on the PM side. We're going to be discussing everything sports related, football, basketball, NBA, WNBA, MLB, hockey, cricket, whatever it might be.
And of course, on Saturdays, we have we're doing all your fantasy football start sits. And just to kind of show you guys that we do this, we really do this. Again, nearly put up 200 with these fine gentlemen. Look at Hopkins, who I told you to grab in those videos. A good, nice 31 spot today. Fantastic showing from my group all around. 192 points, as you see, first place there.
Saquon with the backwards frog hop.
That's right.
Yeah. So
Giordano.
Yeah. Absolutely. So with that being said, we are always here, talking about the sports and everything else. And I know you got questions, comments, concerns, but anything, man. Like we say, like our host say, so next time, if you really want to know what's going on, come to the shop.
Walk-ins are always welcome.
Holla. Peace.